Hello everybody, welcome to your slightly later edition of the MCN. We were taken out by the storm. Power cuts galore. So let's not beat around the bush or beat off in a bush. Whatever takes your fancy, let's get right into it. Lunar New Year. I've had a few people reach out and ask questions of, Rich, are we going to see the Lunar New Year event? Quick answer, hopefully. Other answer, maybe. Kabam may put this event out. I would think by now it's either going to be today or it's going to be on Monday or it's actually going to be on the 29th of January, which is the date of Lunar New Year. Well, it's the year of the snake, by the way. So with nothing confirmed, I don't really want to speculate on something that hasn't been announced. If Kabam did what they did last year, they launched this as a February-based event as opposed to it being a, just... oh, it's on the day. It's like on the... last year, it was different though, because it was actually in February. This year, it's actually in January, but will Kabam delay it one more week and then go, well, we'll just make this a February type event and make it a long-standing rotation of things? There is a good chance they'll do that because then it means that they don't have to build a new kind of event that launches in February itself and just can piggyback on the Lunar New Year special celebrations and then do some things for Valentine's Day like they did last year. Do you think they're going to go that way, or do you think we're actually going to get a Lunar New Year event drop on the actual day, which is, I talk gibberish a lot more than I usually do, Wednesday the 29th of January 2025. So we're, Wednesday's the normal kind of new event launch date. Will Kabam do that? Thoughts in the comments. Hey, do you remember that ban story we talked about? The kind of mass false reporting and that leading to a ban story? Here's something that's really interesting. A follow-up by Kabam crashed on that one, or kind of going a bit more. When answering to someone at NR, asking a few questions about kind of theoretically talking about the idea of so you're saying there should be or are there consequences of some person to just hit report on every single Battlegrounds match they do. That could be, yes, mass reporting. Well, to kind of jump the gun to kind of the actual response by Kabam Crash, he says this exact thing actually happened. I noticed there was a group of players who were reporting every single Battlegrounds opponent. What is wrong with people? I get beaten in Battlegrounds. I get wins in Battlegrounds. And I'm sure you're the same. Not every match is going to be a W straight every time. So going, oh, this person must be a cheater, everyone being it, that's so weird, isn't it? I was going to ban them with the contact support reason and get support to tell them to knock it off and unban them, but then I realized the reason they were doing it was to try to clog up the reporting system because they were cheating, so they ended up getting banned for real. That's so weird. So it's like a flip reverse on it, and just understand this way. So they were mass reporting. There was a group of players who were reporting every single Battlegrounds opponent, but then realized the reason they were doing it was to try and clog up the reporting system because they were cheating. So they ended up getting banned for real. Who does that? That's so weird, isn't it? To go, I tell you what, I can put a blanket over stuff. If Marvel Rivals players out there, here's one for you. It's like Cloak and Dagger or Invisible Woman's ult. They're literally putting a blanket over to kind of block you out from seeing what's going on the other side, if you know what I mean. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy that people would do that. An interesting update. Also, I thought this was interesting. Somebody spent 500 units to find out that the profile picture that they bought, a premium item, then was sent out to everybody for free. Theoretically. Okay, so this is the story here, and it's Blaze says, I bought this profile when Craven first released. That's a long time ago. Why not make it a new one instead of giving the existing one out for free? I can't remember. Did I have one for free? I'm gonna have to now check. Oh, I did. So I got that for free as well. So that's 500 units worth of value given out for free. That's not good, especially if you're spending 500 units for the privilege of that particular profile picture. And I don't know if this scares anybody that's bought a profile picture. Look, I've got nothing against anybody who spend their units. Spend your units however you want. I've got my opinion of what I feel I should use for them. And of course, we offer options to people of what you want to do. But it's your choice. You do what you want. It's your game. You play it. But if you are going to buy these profile pictures, I think it's a stern warning to people to go, Right, do I want to spend the extent of units to find out that people are going to get them down the line for free? That's kind of like an unfair trade-off for the extent that you're buying them. So these profile pictures right here that we've got on screen, like if I went, oh, I really want this King Groot one, and spend 500 units, and then find out in about a year, 2 year, maybe 3 years time that it was given out for free, you've just slashed 500 units worth of value from these. If it was what is it, CSGO, you'd be like, right, you just gave out like this expensive like dagger for free. Like what the heck is happening? You've kind of slashed any kind of value from it. Do you know what? Even though I'm recording this like a lot later on in the day, and this is a second story, and if you've got any thoughts on that previous profile picture-based story, put it in the comments. I'm recording this later on in the day. I normally record this like on a Thursday night, so I can put it out on a Friday, midday. The point I'm raising with this is that the extent of time still for Kabam to respond against some of these issues this week. Alliance War Showcase, no update. The situation around like inventory compensation for people that are losing out on those items expiring from their stash. No answer. There's a lot of stuff that I feel that Kabam do need to get across. Like, do they plan to address some of this stuff? Do they not? Is this harmful to Kabam in any kind of way? Well, kind of. There's a story that's next we need to kind of like bring in, and maybe we'll bring this into like the topic of updates to situations and the general state of like communication in general. At this moment in time, I don't know whether the general state of things happens with we talked about community communications for a little while, but then there's that, but also there's the extent of what the game team can do, and are they working from pillar to post, they're working excessively as possible, and are they resourced correctly to get the extent of fixes and improvements in game, because of late it's just not felt the case. So of course we had to have the hot fix to fix some issues, but there's also a lot of stuff that we've even addressed here, like and over the weeks have just gone unanswered, and it's difficult to kind of get a full response as to what's going on. I think especially when there are a lot of specific based questions to answers that are affecting players. The Alliance War Showcase meant that people were spending a lot more units or revives because of the extent of what that bullseye fight was doing, and also the dust fight. We've then got the other issues of, well, is there an AQ raids? Thanos was an easier boss than he should have been. Don't know what's going on with that. Then there's the inventory issue and the other issues from the Summoner's Sigil fallout. Like, there's a lot of stuff that still remains a little bit unanswered. Kabam Pinwheel offers a little bit of information, says everything else aside, and that is to do with the extent of, just assessment of things that are going right and wrong, mainly wrong. I do just want to say that I think that it's fair and correct, or rather the last sentence. I do like to look at an issue though. I wish they didn't happen in the first place, as opportunities to get feedback and course correct. Now, I don't think a lot of this feedback is currently actionable, but I do appreciate you taking the time to write it out and share your thoughts. One way or another, discussion is useful for all of us. And a side note, for the mention of why the McDonald's folks don't like to hire someone to fix the machines, it's because until very recently they legally weren't able to, because of a contract with MCDs. Maybe that's MSDs and associate. I don't know. That's of course going in kind of a different line of things, because it's then talking about why is the McFlurry machine always never working in McDonald's? Why can it never get someone to fix it? Blah 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 blah. So I think the big point and kind of how we're kind of coming to, because there's a really decent thread discussing like what's not going well, what's going well with MCOC. There is the issue of the fundamental gameplay elements of this game aren't great. If you look at the state of AI, that's not great. Kabam are working on something to actually build a better or fully functioning AI system, which they didn't before. Still don't know what's going to happen with that. So I think this year have come into it with more questions than answers as to things that are new bugs coming into the game that aren't like being addressed, or we don't know the full updates to them. We know Kabam are looking at them, but then we've got a week left, and some of these bugs are in content that, well, it's gone. So what's the point? What's the point of fixing a bug that's for a piece of content that's going to be gone? So therefore your focus is, we don't have enough time to fix this, we need to compensate. that particular part, it's non-existent. From the extent of like reading up on what players' thoughts are at the moment, rewards come to the forefront a lot more, and I think that's where a lot of the issues are for just an general enjoyment and what you're trying to target and get out of the game, because you want to work hard for something to get something out of it, and when you're working hard for something and you're finding obviously the AI and the general gameplay and some of the bugs that are associated with that are kind of frustrating. I think a lot of people can take or leave that, knowing Kabam can actually deal with it, whether it's compensation or it's actually fixing it, which is not really happening as much, apart from that hot fix that went live. But there's other bugs. It's not just one bug, it's many bugs. Then of course there's the other side of things, and it's like what you're working for, are you getting out of it? Like, is it worth it at the end of the day? And sometimes that's where I'd say we don't really kind of align with Kabam on that notion. Either way, a lot of things to do for Kabam to work on in 2025 to kind of get them at a better point. And how long will that take? Don't know. Is this something with the community management team they need to do? Is this game team? Because I can see communication, but I just don't see the other side of things, of like the game team being able to action stuff that's coming up from a bug. Community team log it, they grab it, they send it over to the game team to fix. Game team, like, I can imagine they're doing stuff, it's just there might be a lot more stuff. Is that a resourcing issue? Look, there's a lot of questions that are for Kabam to deal with, but just getting that kind of backwards and forwards communication of where we're up to with stuff, I guess would be a little bit nicer to know more frequently. Other things going to the dogs, let's end the week on a wholesome story. This is the story of Outrageous King 154. So he joined the game when he was 11, and he is celebrating his 21st birthday, so he's done it for like, 10 years. He loved Marvel more than anything. Spider-Man was everything to an 11-year-old, still is, and I remember seeing MCC on the App Store begging to download it, and it wasn't long after I remember begging my mother for $20 so I could buy units and get premium hero crystals so I could try and get a 4-star. I remember jumping out of my bed when I got a 3-star Captain America and feeling on top of the world. While I stopped playing, I downloaded it once per year typically and would play it for a weekend or two, but the past year I got more into it than usual, and after 5 months going hard, I have realized it's now here permanently. Also, they were quite surprised that there was still an active community still playing the game, and he was very shocked by that. Anyway, he just wanted to pop into the subreddit to say that since the game just celebrated 10 years, I just turned 21, and yet here I'm all these years later, and now my mother will likely be spending $20 to buy me a drink, and my dumb ass will be playing that damn game on my phone. Don't diss this game on the phone. It's brought loads of people together. The only difference is now I'm distracting myself from college and work and my career, and not what flavor icy I'm going to get at the movies. So thank you all for keeping this game alive for these years. From me, of course, my 3-star Captain America. I just thought it would be a nice kind of little wholesome thing to share with you that this person posted. As I said, they were grateful for this community, and I think we all are. We club together, even though Kabam sometimes don't really get it. But we try, don't we? Anyway, thanks for all the support, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.